Welcome. Today we're talking with Dan King, Managing Partner of the Patriot Group, and Thomas Barry, Partner and Chief Technology Officer, also at the Patriot Group. Dan and Thomas, welcome and thank you for joining us at today's Banker Digest.
Thanks, Larry. Good to be here.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Great. Well, let's get started, Dan. As you know, delinquency is a lagging indicator of household or business financial stress. What is your advice as to the steps bankers can take to position themselves to be ahead of that curve?
Well, first and foremost, you need to look into what's happening in the economy. And I think pretty evident at this point that, we're on the brink of a recession, if not in a recession already. So looking at what's going on, just read a couple of headlines here. Household debt rises to 16.9 trillion, credit cards pass pre-pandemic high. Credit card debt jumps to 18.5%, drops 18.5%, hits a record 930.6 billion. I think as a banker, these are on your radar right now, and you need to look into your portfolio to look for additional early delinquency risks. And some of those might include changes in payment patterns with your customers. For instance, if you've got people on auto pay and they turn their auto pay off, that might be an indicator that something's about to happen with your portfolio. So if you can find those data points and you have availability to them, that's a great place to look. Another good place to focus on is check in with your customers. Develop a contact program utilizing a low-cost email or text platform, such as one that we offer, to reach out to your customers proactively. So those are just a couple of tips I think that are very important. An additional one would be to take a little more time looking into your loss forecasts and your analysis. If you're not focusing there now, there might be some data points that will help you really determine a path forward to curb your delinquencies.
Great. Thank you, Dan. So in some cases, some bank portfolios may already be experiencing what they view as increased delinquency levels. If that's the case, what are you advising clients?
Well, there's a couple of solutions here. If you don't already have a robust collections or recovery team and or program, now's the time to take action. And if you have a problem right now finding staff resources, you have options. You have options such as third-party agencies that can act both in a third-party manner and first-party, which would be they would be acting on your behalf and using your institution's name to work with your customers to resolve the delinquencies. You need to identify segments that need immediate attention. And I'm sure, looking at whatever scoring models you have in your risk models, you can determine where those segments might be. And again, utilizing that wellness campaign, reaching out to your customer base via text or email would be very effective as well. You also need to look at forecasting of potential volumes. You see an increase in delinquency, which obviously you're going to be contacting your customers through, let's not call them call centers, let's call them contact centers, because nowadays they're using multiple options to contact them. But you need to have the resources to be able to handle that, either via internal staff or outsourcing nearshore or offshore to handle those volumes. Those are all very important to make sure if you've got somebody engaged via text, for instance, you've got a text message campaign out and they've got their phone in their hand. You want to be able to engage them right then and there to resolve them. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose that opportunity to engage with that customer and resolve the debt.
Great. Thank you, Dan. So Thomas, let's switch over. So what are the advantages of engaging external third-party firms to supplement the bank's call center resources?
Sure. So utilizing third-party firms gives you a real benefit when it comes to supplementing your call center resources, because that organization has economies of scale relative to contacting consumers. That allows them to be able to quickly ramp up and down staff as they need to without having to explore layoffs, because they can spread that over multiple clients. They also have strong management skills and expertise to ensure customer satisfaction when contacting them in a number of ways. And they have that technology in place to be a true contact center and not only a call center. They can utilize text, email, chat, inbound and outbound calling, and they have all the resources necessary to select the right technology or contact to satisfy that consumer the best.
Great, great. Thank you, Thomas. So when using external resources, how can bankers gain insights into their customers' experience?
Sure. So going back to utilizing those third-party external resources and contact centers, if you're utilizing one, they have all the technology in place already to monitor all that inbound and outbound contact metrics, whether it be from calling, text, email, chat, and they have wonderful reports already canned and ready to go to ensure that everything is flowing well. But then on top of that, if you're looking to monitor the individual agents, ever since the COVID pandemic and the big influx of work from home agents, whether that be internal or external employees, we've seen the benefits of utilizing a workspace monitoring tool, which can help to ensure compliance, agent performance, can actually utilize AI to ensure that their desk is clean, that they're not utilizing cell phones or a notepad. So that's a way of helping to protect your consumer data. But then it's also utilizing AI to ensure active engagement from your agents to make sure that they're not just phoning at home, essentially. Make sure that they're actually engaged with your consumers when they're talking with them, which ultimately leads to a more positive customer experience.
Great, great. Well, thank you. Dan and Thomas, thank you for spending time with today's Banker Digest. Your insights on how bankers can plan, monitor, and then take action on changes to their portfolio's delinquency levels, I am sure will be very helpful. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Absolutely.
Glad we can
Thanks,
contribute.
Great.
Thank you so
Okay. In closing, thank you for joining today's Banker Digest. If you have additional questions for Dan or Thomas, please see the links in their bio.